Hello there, football fans. Welcome to the very first edition of the Mercurial Trequartistas Gamecast, your weekly dose of Premier League passion, predictions, and proper football talk. I'm Datan, and if I may introduce you to my co-creator of this podcast, Mark, he literally is the man who invented the false nine position because he played it so well in the Sunday leagues. Mark?
It's true that the false nine position went so well, ended up going all the way back to the other end of the pitch and becoming a false one and the goalkeeper.
False one. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. Now, what do we have cooking for you today? We will be diving into several massive talking points from the Premier League. Mark and myself also have some talking points from last weekend's fantasy football because let's face it, that's where the real money is. And we will wrap up with our soon to be famous, hopefully, obscure fact section. So let's get into it. Several big stories have been dominating the Premier League since the weekend, and there is always much rumination during international breaks. Mark, can you kindly kick us off with story number one, your thoughts on Mikel Arteta so far this season?
Wow. I'd be top of the league, so you can't really argue too much with that. It was all very different about a week or so ago. There was a little bit of a gap between them and Liverpool, but yeah, for all the pressure that he was supposedly under, they just got on with it, won the games, got to the top, and yeah, they're gonna be a threat this season. They had a very good year last year. They lost just as many games to Liverpool. They only lost four, two to Bournemouth, one to West Ham, one to Newcastle, and they've already played two of those already this season and beaten them both. So yeah, I think news of their sort of struggles a little bit premature. They're going to be up there. They're going to be challenging, and it'll be interesting to see how they do as the season progresses. I think last season too many draws let them down in the end. So if they can convert them into wins of this year, then no reason why they can't have a good season.
I've got nothing but high praise for Arsenal so far this season and the way that Arteta's approached things. As you say rightly, he was under a lot of pressure up until last week. What's impressive for me is that they've only conceded, I think, three goals so far this season, if I'm correct. And I think in the top four, definitely in the top five, that's the lowest number so far. The other thing is the injuries that they have at the moment. The players in the treatment room are Havertz, Madueke, Jesus, Odegaard, Hincapié, and Declan Rice. In simple terms, once Arteta gets these guys fit and available for selection, Arsenal are going to be an even better team than they are now. We move on to story number two, Nuno at West Ham. What a story. How do you think that will go in the years ahead?
Well, I mean, West Ham's it's a notoriously difficult job. Trying to play the right kind of football, get the results, keep the fans happy. He needs time. That's It's a job that's going to need time. He's certainly got the skills, the reputation to be able to build a good team. He's done it before. Did incredibly well at Forest. Saves them from relegation, gets them qualifying for Europe. And do you know what? I think the job at Spurs, he needed more time there. 17 games wasn't enough. But he went away, rebuilt the reputation at Al Ittihad, won the Saudi Pro League, won the Saudi Super Cup. And yeah, I think you look at that, coupled with the job that he did at Wolves, he's a good manager. And it's great to see a goalkeeper doing well as a manager. So yeah, why not? Uh, I think he probably does need to watch out for Ange. Ange seems to be following him everywhere he goes. But yeah, give him time. He'll build a team. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
So, on that point of Ange following him, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, he replaced him at Forest and Spurs. Last two jobs, he's been the guy that's come in after Nuno. So if it happens a third time, questions need to be asked.
So, Ange is stalking Nuno?
Well, it looks like it. Or his agent is. Who knows? Yeah.
I agree with you on those points. I think Nuno is a terrific coach. He's proven himself at Wolves and definitely at Forest. in recent times, which was a bit, it was strange the way he left them, but it is what it is. I just think that he needs a bit of backing at West Ham, and if he gets that from his board, there's no reason why he can't do really well with them. But I wish both Nuno and West Ham all the luck in the world. All the best to
It's a
them.
tricky job. I mean, David
Mm,
Moyes, he gets them a European trophy,
mm,
and it wasn't enough. So the demands are very interesting there. I think a lot of that was coming down to possibly the style of play.
mm,
But if you're coming in and you're getting that team a European trophy,
mm.
you've not done a whole lot wrong, surely.
Just a nano point. David Moyes extremely quickly. How do you think he's doing at the Hill Dickinson? Everton have a shiny new stadium. The fans are certainly very happy.
And I was a little bit concerned with them during pre-season because things did not look good at all. Like they were struggling for any kind of result in pre-season. But I think they bought wisely. The
Yeah.
loan deal for Jack Grealish has been a very good addition to the team, and he's already made an impact in the games that he's played.
Hmm.
Uh, Tyler Diggling as well, so getting him from Southampton. So yeah, I think I'm less concerned about how they're going to do this year than I was on that pre-season. Pre-season, it looked a little bit shaky.
Hmm.
Losing to Leeds in the first game,
Yeah.
not the best start, but I think what he's done to tweak the team is going to be enough to make sure that they're going to have a decent year.
Yeah, I think what if Everton can secure a striker who can score on a regular basis, that will just, that will take them up the league table really quickly. They are solid in virtually every other part of the pitch. They just need someone to be knocking them in on a fairly regular basis. So I'm sure Moyes will find that person. So let's see how it goes. But moving on to the other team at Liverpool. So Arna's slot machine. They hit a bit of a road bump last week. Discuss.
I mean, it wasn't the best week. I mean, any week where you're losing three in a row is a little bit of a nightmare. But perspective-wise, I think Virgil van Dijk said he said at the beginning of the season, he reiterated again this week. This is not a normal season. It's going to be very difficult for them on and off pitch. The loss of Jota was huge,
Mm.
uh, and you can see how much it affected players. Seeing Salah's reaction in the Preston friendly and how he celebrated with the goal against Bournemouth. You know, the players are hurting, and I think it's going to be one of them years where there's going to be a different kind of pressure. Tactically, they are missing so Jota's pressing, they are missing Diaz's pressing, and they're missing Nunez's pressing. I mean, Nunez did get around the pitch and harass the defenders, and they did it very well last year. They were sort of really closing down the attacking balls and
Yes.
forcing teams to play sideways and backwards. It's not really happened this year. We've sort of seen it in flashes, and that's the kind of thing that it comes with time. You bring in a lot of players. It's not going to be an instant hit with the tactics or the way the team sets up. There's been a little bit of a formation tweak as well. A lot of 4-3-3 last year. There's been a little bit more, was it 4-3-1-2, 4-1-3-2, alternating between the two during the matches. So all in all, I think they're also going to be fine. They're going to be challenging with Arsenal for the top. This week, as bad as three defeats in a row is, it's still only two last minute winners and a really dodgy penalty. So despite that, they were still difficult to beat.
Agreed.
There's not going to be last minute winners every game. You're not going to get those kind of penalties given every single game. So enough to build up. So it's not the worst start.
Mm.
Really good wins, really good comebacks, and the next match to change, shake the mood. It's Man United at Anfield. Bottoms out the window for that match. They're going to be all guns blazing for it. Hopefully, be a good game. Salah's two goals for Egypt in midweek. they were two very good goals. I think, like Arsenal, news of the demise is very premature.
I will just add a few positives to Liverpool. What can I say? I think in terms of the goalkeeper, I used to rate Kelleher an awful lot. I think Klopp described him as the best number two keeper in the world, which was a fair comment. But the guy that they've got in, Marmadashvili, he's meant to be very, very good, and I think he will strengthen in that position. I think Alisson's hamstrings are a bit suspect. He suffered quite a few of those injuries over the last few seasons, so Marmadashvili, I suspect, will play a key role for Liverpool. The defence is conceding a lot more than it has done, well, than it did last season. I'm sure that will be tightened up, but as you say, they are almost going through a bit of a transition period at the moment. They've bought an awful lot of players, and the club is grieving. Um, I think everybody can see from the outside just how deep it cuts with the loss of Jota. It wasn't just Liverpool, but the whole footballing world. It just hurt. It really did. And the club are feeling that. So give them time. And as you say, reports of their demise are premature. But let's see how quickly they can turn things around. We move on to story number four. It's to do with Newcastle. Eddie's team have been through changes, uncertainty, and turmoil this summer, which extended all the way to the end of the transfer window. We know what happened, there's no need to go into depth. But how do you think they will do this season?
Wow. Yeah, it did look a very difficult start. It's tough when you've got a situation where a player wants out, and it was such a protracted transfer saga. I think Eddie Howe dealt with it dignity. He didn't he didn't go all out negative on the player in the press. He just he concentrated on the team and sort of trying to make sure that they were in a place where they were prepared for the season. And they've bought wisely. Walter made us come in, and he's already made an impact. He looks like he enjoys the game, he enjoys the goals. He's going to be a different kind of challenge for a lot of Premier League defenders. And all in all, Eddie Howe's done a great job. He was really good at Bournemouth. He's done fantastic in Newcastle. He won them the first trophy since 1955. There's been a lot of managers, a lot of big name managers that haven't managed that, and we've still got all the players to come. So yeah, I think they're going to be sort of top five, challenging top four, and you never know. Champions League, just got to qualify. Finishing the top 24, and you're into the playoffs.
Yeah.
St James's Park can get rocking. You never know. They could upset a few teams in the Champions League in future ties.
Yeah, I mean, in simple terms, they have a tight defence, a very decent strike force now. They've obviously lost Isak, but Walter Maida, I think, he will be successful. He has all the attributes to be successful in the Premier League, and I know that Wissa is injured at the moment, but they say he should be back around November time. He's a proven goal scorer in the Premier League, and with the greatest of respect to Brentford, I think he will be getting a lot more service at Newcastle. So he will score even more goals. What can I say? And also, Eddie, he's a perfect gentleman. He's a lovely guy. And as you say, he's delivered their first trophy in a long, long time. I wish them well. And I do think that they are set up for a decent season. I expect them to do well. We move on to story number five, predictions for the league. So we are about a fifth of the way through the season so far, but not your predictions for who's going to finish top, but your predictions for who's destined for the drop. Thoughts, Mark?
Um, I did do the Premier League predictor table at the beginning of the season, and I did fancy one Championship team to stay up. Wasn't entirely sure which one it would be out of Leeds or Sunderland. I thought I'd pick Sunderland to stay up, but the Premier League table selector is so sensitive. I think it swipes them and switched the positions. So I'll stick with that, even if it was an accident. I think Leeds will stay up. But Sunderland would just about go down. thought Burnley would go down just off the back of not scoring enough goals. And I had Wolves at the start of the season for the drop. It wasn't a great end to the season last year. They've lost players. Don't think they've replaced them properly yet. And it's not been a great start. There were a bit of a glimmers of some nice play against Spurs. But yeah, I think they're going. So hopefully, one of the championship teams can stay up. It'd be great to sort of see more jeopardy coming to the relegation battle. Have more last days of the season where any 3 from 5 can go. But I don't know. Look at the way it's sort of gone. I mean, Sunderland, they bought a lot of players in, like Liverpool, but they've bedded in really quickly, and they're doing incredibly well. If they can keep keep getting the results like this, then maybe 2 championship teams will stay up this year.
Let's see. I mean, I went along the route of the three that came up from the championship being most likely to go down, and this is purely because I think in the last few years the gulf in between the Premier League and the Championship is growing. So the teams that have come up to the Premier League in the last few seasons, all of them have struggled. They found it hard. But then again, if we go back a few years and we look at the likes of Brentford and Brighton, who have taken a very different approach, so their use of data is highly impressive. They have come up and they have managed to stay up. They've done very, very well. Um, I think, as you say, Burnley are perhaps lacking a bit of firepower, and that may cost them. Leeds and Sunderland have done very well. I think better than what most people expected, but it's a long, hard season to use an old footballing cliche. And
Just also
Wolves,
like the first season.
yeah,
I mean, Brentford and Bournemouth both did it at different points. Brighton did it at a different point, and they've all been able to build on it.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
that the first season's key. Just stay up however you can.
mm,
Keep that Premier League money,
yeah.
and then invest it wisely.
But if we touch a bit on what you said about, the final day of the season and like 3 of 6 could go down, I think for the neutral, all of us miss that. It is extremely harsh on the fans of those teams because it's just really, really stressful. But as a neutral, I think all of us miss that. So perhaps if that were to come back, it would be an interesting end to the season. But
More relegation chaos. I'm all for it.
let's see what happens. Well, everyone, there you have it. 5 takes, probably 55 different opinions, knowing the two of us. We will, of course, be keeping a close eye on all these stories as they develop over the next few weeks. We now move on to our second segment. So I think in the weeks ahead, this will likely be everyone's favourite segment, and it's going to be Fantasy Football Intel. Given that we have taken a strategic decision to launch during an international break, we will provide you with a review of last weekend's games and some general thoughts on the state of the fantasy football landscape so far this season. Over to you, Mark.
Wow, it's been an interesting change to the rules. Defensive contributions have come in, and that's making players look a little bit more at who the fielding. Centre defenders and now defensive midfielders are capable of adding those points to the traditional goals and assist scorers. We it is worth mentioning we do play sort of it's a head-to-head league,
Yes,
our
we
main
do.
league.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do play that a little differently. You get to sort of target who the other players field in and see if you can work an advantage there. I think it's fair to say that we both had a mixed start to the season. I I
Yeah.
frustratingly lost by 7 points in my tie last weekend, which was all Haaland's fault. So, you know, about Haaland. The other guy I think captained as well, so that didn't help. Uh, yeah, so what's it, 7 games in? Yeah, I think I'm on 1-3, lost 4. There's only one that I've lost by a big amount, but yeah, all the rest of them did fairly slim margins. But I think a lot of players everywhere are trying to get to grip with the defensive contributions thing. it's certainly added an interesting dynamic in a way that maybe players didn't necessarily take to the managerial chip last year.
Agreed. It was a bit strange. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think that added a level of randomness which yeah, it didn't really help players.
yeah. I'll just give a few general thoughts. I think over the last few seasons, for a lot of people, it's been Haaland versus Salah. Who do they pick? And that's still in place now. I mean, I thought last year, everybody thought that Salah would be leaving. He signed his new contract quite late, but we are lucky to still have him in the league, and Haaland is still here as well. So, that's always a thought for people. I think those who have managed to squeeze both in, uh, they have found it hard in other areas of the pitch because they don't really have that much to spend. But as you say, with the DEFCON contributions this season, a lot of people have been finding players from teams like Palace, Spurs, and Newcastle who have performed quite well in defence. Picking their players have been useful. But a quick shout out to Semenyo at Bournemouth. I think he's been outstanding this season, and everyone's cottoned on, and everyone seems to have him in their team now. So,
Everybody's got him on, except me. I haven't got him.
my apologies.
I was tempted to put him in at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
didn't, and
yeah.
I've been struggling to find room for him.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe this is what's to blame for the for where it's gone wrong in the previous weeks.
Yeah.
Will I try and get him in? Gonna have to try and give it a go somewhere. I don't know how it's gonna work yet. Uh, yeah, the thing is, I'm not taking Salah out. I have got Salah. I'm not taking him out for the Man United game. Historically, he usually gets a nice little points haul
Yeah.
against them, so that's too much of a risk.
Agreed, but his form isn't. I wouldn't say it's bad, but compared to the really high standards of last season, he's not quite playing in the same way. His role is a bit different in the team. It's kind of like the opposite of Ian Rush, whereby he never scored against Man United until quite late in his career, whereby Salah, as you say, he's done really well against Man United over the
But once
years.
Rush did start against them, he couldn't start. They kept going in after that.
Well, that's going
Salah
back
did
a fair
score
while,
two
so
very good goals in midweek though. He got two goals in international duty, both of them very good finishes. One was like a little drilled outside of the foot, taking it early, take the keeper by surprise. And the other one was like an instinctive first time lift over the top of the keeper from the edge of the area.
mhm.
So maybe international breaks come at the right time for some players.
Hmm.
Give a little bit of a confidence boost.
I must admit, I've not paid that much international attention this week.
It is very difficult to get that enthused about it. But I was missing football. I was very bored.
You must have been really bored. Uh, so yeah.
It's true. Haaland and Spurs got called off. Weather stopped them. So yeah, that was my last resort. International football. Yeah.
If we now move on to the third part of the show, and this is something that we call the obscure facts section. So this week and in the weeks ahead, we will share with you three obscure football connected facts for you to ponder. So let's dive in. Mark, the first floodlit match in English football was held in 1878. It was a game between two local teams in Sheffield, held at what I believe is now Bramall Lane. It was illuminated by arc lamps powered by a local factory, and this was decades before floodlights became standard. I think that's brilliant. I really do.
It is. It is. I mean, they were really into the football back then. I mean, 1878, illuminated match, brilliant, and outlights as well. I would hope they got a patent on it or something like that, but I'd maybe try and roll it out to more illuminated matches in the 1870s, 1880s. But yeah, I mean, the football's a big thing in Sheffield anyway. So it really won't see that match.
What if they were to do like a historical recreation of such a match? I think there would be a lot of interest in that. But let's see.
I mean, I'd be up for that. I'm not sure our Gamecast has the budget, but how
Oh
many
no, no.
how many outlamps have we got in the budget?
Well, at the moment the budget is next to nothing.
Oh
But
no! Oh, that's not
oh
very many
no,
outlamps.
that's not good. But no, no. But I was thinking, I mean, perhaps Sheffield United or if there are local teams in Sheffield, if they would be interested in that. So it was just a thought. It would be really, really nice to see. And back then, football, it's just always been a big thing, and factories had their local teams, and I just found that fascinating. So that was the first obscure fact. So if we move on to the second one. Notts County influenced the colours worn by Juventus. So in 1903, Juventus asked an English contact for new kits. He sent them black and white striped shirts from Notts County, and these colours are still worn today by Juve. Interesting.
Why not? Yeah, I do like English Italian football leagues, and that's yeah, it's how it used to be done though, isn't it? You'd get kits of other teams in other countries sort of showing up, and yeah, that's County Juve. Maybe not two teams you would put together, but I think they should celebrate with some kind of anniversary Notts County Juventus friendly, the black and
Oh.
white stripe friendly, but they've all got to play in the same kit.
So if we were to add Newcastle to the mix, and are there any other teams that play with like black and white shirts, famous ones? We could, I mean, like they could get together for like
Yeah,
a black and white tournament. That would
yeah.
be that
Get
would
get
that
in
would,
the yeah, maybe have a third goal, uh, maybe a bit of a Triskelion shaped pitch, and
what, like three teams playing at the same time? How
all
many
all
balls would there
all
be?
just the one. That's enough carnage.
All
It
the
could be
physios,
the replacement for the Anglo-Italian Cup.
all the physios and all the doctors for each of the teams. They'll
All
be
the
having.
time wasting. Yeah, but the thing is, you get like one team going down with an injury, playing for time because they're ahead, and the other two teams looking at them like, "Come on."
Interesting. That's something to ponder for the future. The final obscure fact this week is going to be the penalty spot didn't exist until 1902. Before then, penalties were taken from anywhere along a line 12 yards from goal, which meant you could take them from an angle. Wow.
I mean, that sounds like a bit of a throwback to sort of when there was a few rugby rules in the old football constitution and all that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what kind of advantage you get in trying to hit a really heavy old school football at an angle. I don't think that's curling into the top corner, or at least not very easily.
No, no.
It surely favours the keeper. I mean, even if you're taking it from an angle, playing for a rebound off the keeper, it's not going to bounce that far away from him. So obviously, as the years have gone by, everybody's stuck to the middle, thinking, well, that's actually locked in a position. But I'd love to try it out. I think if the Gamecast budget can't extend to the arc lamp experiment, we should certainly find some way of testing this theory out and having an old school penalty shootout from anywhere along that 12-yard line.
So if we get the gang all together and like we could try this. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Five
George,
penalties all
so
along the line.
George, John, Rob, get your football boots on, all of you.
Yeah, they're looking at you. I'll get the gloves ready.
Well, you will be the keeper because that will normalize it. So yeah, good, good, good. Okay, everyone, that will conclude our first podcast. So until the next time, keep the faith, and if you like what you've seen and heard, do subscribe to us. We will be back sometime next week with more TMTG goodness. Till the next time, until all are one.